What's the thing with musicians and sculpting?
You know, one thing, Jah is the giver of all creations everywhere in the world. You know, whenever gives you something this way, it can attach other to it because of the sculpture and music together, they together, and there's no way you have things like that that you're not able to be a musician, sculptor, musician, whatever. So it's the same thing. Like we have, let me just say for example, we have art, we have the visual, we have the non-visual. Under visual art, we have fine and applied art. Under non-visual, we have performing art and literary art. Are you getting me? So under that drama, music, and whatever. So I'm trying to say that there's definitely something that I got to attach to that sculpture, which is music.
All right, for you, doing music and doing sculpting, I want to know, is sculpting hobby or is it business for you?
It's a business at the same time. It's not a hobby for me, it's a professional thing for me. Music as well is also a professional thing for me because of the amount of passion that I have for both. Understand? The love for both sculpture and music. It's been natural in me. So natural that I can't just part with both. They are both related somehow.
Okay, I asked that because a lot of persons want to know how the business of sculpting is going in Nigeria as a craft.
Well, number one, the country we find ourselves, they don't encourage artworks. Things is like you make a lot of works down, paintings, sculpture works, and eventually you're not able to buy them. Understand? Because one, the situation of the country, things are hard. Understand? So you've not got the money to feed yourself, but the money to buy artworks. So it's not the way it sells outside there. So that's one issue we have, the problem we have in Nigeria here. It doesn't sell like you are buying biscuits, you are buying clothes. You understand?
Okay, let me take the conversation to EDW. What informed your interest in sculpting for those who want to go to it to learn? And then why do you think it's something you have to venture into as a business or professionally?
Well, to become sculpture for me is a gift. Fine art generally is a gift for me. It's not about whether I just went into it because of people are doing it, And I think for anyone to go into sculpture, you must be gifted. You don't do things because people are doing it. It must be your calling, which has been also has been my calling right from day one. Though I started with music, right from day one. And then as time went by, I discovered that, sculpture, art generally is my calling, and which of course I'm more passionate about sculpture.
Okay, let me take the conversation to Solution. To share your experience, your journey into this business and then how far it has gone. What has been the level of patronage? And looking at the market in Nigeria, what's your assessment?
Well, from day one, I've been a little bit struggling with this business because some of my clients, we do some works for them, they don't pay. They tell stories and things like that, and then one way or the other, we also try to do something to make sure that I get myself known to other customers, you understand? But the way I've been doing this thing for a long time is not something that is so easy. It's been so difficult. Let us be frank here, you understand? Because I just have to marry music together so that I can have other things to move on, you understand? That's why I just had to add the music to it. So that's what that's it. Huh?
All right. Why do you think, could it be the business environment? Why do you think it's been so challenging to make ends or earn living, in this kind of business? Talk to us some of the peculiar challenges when it comes to the business environment and why you think profit margin is not as wide as you
Good. Number one, the chemicals we do buy for our artworks, very expensive. When you buy chemicals for social amount, and your client will tell you this is what I want, and eventually maybe you are through with the work, now they won't pay you your balances. That's one. Then two again is that you might want to kind of please your customers and say, let us do this way, one or the other, and they will now tell you some other things different, you understand? So all the same together, it's not been easy. I have to tell you, it has not been easy. We just have to be open to ourselves there, because the country we find ourselves, the art business is not moving as we expect it to be. You understand? So me putting myself together with music, I mean, because I have passion for music as well as a talented person. I'm a sculptor, songwriter, and arranger, great textile designer. I design my costumes, so okay. So I think it's not be easy. I know it does not be easy.
Edith, I would like to have your take. You know, from his own experience, it's looking like it's not going to be a one-man thing. You just have to marry that business with other things to survive. Has that been your experience? And then, what are your own peculiar challenges, and how have you been able to manage them?
Wow. You know, in this part of the world, we are experiencing kind of galloping inflation. And that has been one of the major challenges that I personally have been going through, and any other artist. And that is why when you are writing an estimate, you have to let the client know, come, within the next 2 weeks or whatever, 1 week, if this project is not taking off, the prices might change, you know, because you cannot afford to lose as an artist. I mean, I don't know. It's been very challenging. It's been very challenging for me. I remember this project that I did some times ago. I was even telling him the other time when I just did one. I got some money and I overspent, you know, more than what the woman gave me. And then I was telling her, look, how I was overspent. She said, that's not my business. And when I said, okay, my balance. She said, okay, I'll send to you. I said, no, give me my balance right now. So it was like 1 for 1. And then I had to make sure she paid my balance that day instead of compromising with her, because she refused to understand my own part of the story. Because after all, she did not pay me on time before the takeoff of the project. You know, and so that has been the challenges we have in this part of the world. And it's been a general thing, really. That galloping inflation has been a general thing. That's why when we are dealing with clients, we are very conscious of that. You know, I still have some on ground now that I just told the guy on the phone that, look, if you guys are not ready now, this thing might change. It might not be on the same price again.
Why do you think, you keep having this development? Because is it that the purchasing power has reduced, the economic reality? And then what is the level of patronage like? And how can, a business owner, mitigate this effect? What do you need to do?
In this part of the world, really, we are yet to get there. The people are not having that better understanding of what art is all about. You know, they don't know that art have a way of communicating. You know, some of them see sculpture as maybe it's kind of demonic,
Fetish.
you know, fetish or something like that. But if you see beyond, you know, what you are looking at, you see that it's really communicating for good. It all has meaning. Everything we do has meaning. Whether abstract, whether reality, whether sculpture, whether painting, it has meaning. So I think we are yet to get there. We have to rely on you media to help us do that. In carry the people along to let them know, look, art is very important for our life.
And there's one thing I used to tell people. Like a friend of mine, he said he went to an exhibition or to buy paintings and sculpture works. I called him. I said, Mr. Man, you never bought those artworks. He said, why? With my money. I said, you never bought those artworks. What you bought was the physical part of the art. Because the spiritual thing came from the inner self of the artist. That brought you to reality physically for you to see. Then you bought that. And I agreed with me. You know, they feel I have the money. Let me buy this. Let us educate them, let them know that art is bigger. It's something you cannot value. But yet, they don't give we artists that respect. They say, us, do works for them, to pay us balances is problem till tomorrow.
Okay, so you just mentioned exhibition, which brings us to craft fairs and exhibitions. So what role does craft fairs and exhibition play in helping the people understand the value, the importance of art, embrace it, and even showcase to them a lot of work? Because he mentioned he has some works on the ground that have not yet been purchased. I'm sure you have some too. So how does craft fairs and exhibition come in? How does it help?
The way it helps is, it depends on the artist. The way the artist maybe organizes on the kind of a thing, or maybe the way you prepare your things. Because the crafts works are things that when you make them and you think is something that's going to be helpful, it depends on the kind of the way you want it to be, because it's not something that you can just do just like that. She get my point. It's something that you have to. The way it helps is the sense that because the beauty of the artworks. Let me tell you, that's about the beauty of the artworks. It's what really encourages people to come and kind of have a feel of it. That's it.
And let me say this. How art works have a way of healing the wound of the people, healing the broken hearts, dead people. And unfortunately, people are not seeing from that angle. These are some of those things, some of these reasons why people should see art, as important as life itself.
Okay, you talked about the perception around sculptures. Some see them as being fetish. Do you think the reason people still hold that perception is because the designs do not look warming or inviting to to those who would buy them, to those who will see them? If the design is done in a way that it doesn't look scary, it doesn't look kind of abstract, you're wondering, what is this? What is the artist trying to communicate? If it's kind of simple, you would have more demand for them.
I think religion, I'm going to bring religion into this one now. Religion is not helping matter. The way the pastors, they preach and all that, it's not helping matter. I remember a guy, the project is still there in Yabatech now. I remember a guy who did a direct cement. The last time he came to the school where he left, where he suffered, I said, how are you doing with the work? He said, no, I'm not doing sculpture again. I'm not a pastor. It's demonic. I was like, what? Demonic? How come it's demonic? Is that what you were taught in church? The pastors, from their own selfish reason, whatever, they are not helping matters. They are part of the problem we have in this country. And they are part of the problem why the artists themselves, they are not really making what they're supposed to make. They are not encouraging people. They don't see art the way they are supposed to see it.
Okay, regardless of EDW's opinion about religion and the business of sculpting, for some other kinds of craft and trade, we've seen those who were in it adapting it to the customer's demand, adapting it to current trends. What are some of the trends in sculpting that perhaps some sculptors have not taken advantage in order to win more patronage?
Fine. It's because most of the works they do, they're abstract works. So they find it difficult to understand. Because abstract works are works that they are not representational art works. You understand? So they find it very difficult to understand or able to kind of know what it really depicts. So that's the problem there.
All right, I'll start the conversation with you this time. What informs the kind of design you come up with? How do you derive inspiration from what you do? And then how can people who are into this business remain competitive and remain creative, irrespective of the challenge? Because I've heard you talk about the challenges, but there are good sides too anyway. So irrespective of the challenges, how do you remain inspired or come up with your design? What inspired your designs? And then how do you remain competitive and creative in this art?
Number one, God is the giver of all creations. He's the one that inspires me always, every time. So one thing is that I get special on God, and I sit down and think about the kind of designs I want to do, and I put them on the paper. Then I build the designs and bring them to reality. Then the other thing you talk about, what was the second question?
Creativity. Maintain your creativity.
Yes, it's just being consistent. You have to be consistent. Consistency, determination. Then you believe in what you're doing. That's it.
Do you agree with him?
Yeah, why not? I agree with him. Naturally, for me, inspiration comes naturally when I'm on the streets, when I'm about to sleep, in my dreams, when I'm eating, when I'm looking at, maybe as I'm looking at you now, it can just come like that. And then the next for me is to think of which material will I use to put to express this inspiration. How will I go about it? You know, will I do it in metal? Will I do it in painting? Will I do it in installation? Or how? You know, that's how I get it. So
what do we need to do as a society, or what do you think should be done to encourage people to appreciate the art of work, to appreciate arts works, this kind of venture, sculpture? What do you think can be done to encourage people to appreciate it? You talk about the biases, the prejudice some people have when it comes to sculpture. So what can be done to change this mindset and encourage people to begin to appreciate the work of arts?
We have to do a lot of orientation. Governments will have to come in. Organizations have to come in. Charity organizations have to come in. Media, especially media, have to come in like you are doing now. I appreciate this one you are doing now. It's a good thing, and I hope it will go a long way to get to people out there to reason, to go back and to rethink, to have a rethink about what the value, in art. To have a rethink that art have a way of, making life better for the society and for all throughout the whole world.
Now let's look at craft exhibition. I'll start with you. How far have we gone as a nation when it comes to having this exhibition periodically or annually or at a season to ensure that artists could be able to network? How much of that have we seen in recent times compared to the past?
Well, now I'll tell you that it's improving. It's improving because why? Then it was just a little. Now people are beginning to appreciate artworks, you understand? There are some other companies, some other sponsors that are involving themselves into such things like that. So it's improving. So that's what I was telling you. It's improving. That's it.
Do you agree that it's improving, art exhibitions and fair in recent times?
It's improving.
Yeah.
It is. Very well. It is improving because I remember the other day went for research at Ekpe. That was some years back though. Both Obas, in Ekpe they have two Obas. They were so welcome that, they gave us a lot of gifts and all that. And at the end of the research, we did an exhibition to commemorate the research, which of course each artist that went to that to the research did different works. Like me, I did a fish, this catfish with metal, and it was interesting, really. It was interesting. It's improving for me. It's improving. A lot of exhibition every day here and there. And I think with time, it will open the people's eyes to see that art is worth, of serious value.
All right, are there things about the exhibitions that you don't quite agree with or you think is not really promoting the business side of art? It's not enough to just have artists bring their artworks what innovations would need in exhibitions, craft fairs and exhibitions to make it more business-like?
Number one is sponsors. You understand? Everything you want to do, you need money. You understand? We need a lot of sponsors to then some other organizations that are interested in such business so they can collaborate together and do something and make the thing work the way we want the things to work. That's it.
Okay, for some of the exhibitions that you've attended, did you find that it's actually served you in terms of patronage? Or you were disappointed, like this did not really do much?
Well, for instance, the few weeks back, we had an exhibition to commemorate the Nigerian independence. That was 29th, 30th at Freedom Park, which we tagged Unity Beyond Boundaries. And I think those are some of those ways we can, get at the people. When you tag an exhibition with a very sensitive theme, which of course we make sense to the people, which of course we have a way of orientating the people, for a better future, as one, which of course, because of course the minister for, no, it wasn't minister, an honorable came, Tawa Ajayi Lycett was there, a lot of people were there, and they were able to do a symposium to, to pass our message to the people. I think those are some of those ways we can really get at the people to make an exhibition worthwhile. We're able to really see that art is not just for doing sake, it's not just for pleasure, but use it to get at the people with a very strong message.
All right, you talked about materials. Sometimes you work with a particular kind of material and you overshoot your budget. How do you source for materials? What are some of the kinds of materials that can be used for sculpting? Are they available locally, or are they things you have to import?
They're available locally. We have found objects, we have fiberglass and all that. We have a lot of metal material too. Apart from found object, could be metal, it could be plastic, it could be, sculpture is not just about metal or fiberglass or POP, So it could be sought anyhow. You can sort them out anyhow, both from the dustbin anywhere, But at the end of the day, what is important is for you to form something with, for you to form something more, important with, that will pass a message across to the people. It's very important. That word message is very important. We don't just do art for doing sake. We do it to make sure we pass message across to the people. So that's why I will encourage you people out there, when you see artwork, you don't see artwork as these people have started with their wahala, their nonsense. It's not nonsense, it's very sensible. Everything we do it, to get to you, for you to understand the meaning of love, how valuable life is. Art is life.
Let's look at technology. How does technology impact what you do? Are there ways that it has improved sculpting?
There's no way you can use technology for sculpting. Artwork is natural. You have to engage yourself with your hands, your brain, everything there. So technology is for other things. For art, you have to use your hands. You have to do everything. So you can't use that for art. For most especially, we're talking about sculpture works. You have to engage yourself using either clay or metal or any other mediums to kind of present your artworks.
All right. Talking about tradition, if you can't use technology, I know that the skill of sculpting, for some families, it is passed down from father to children, the learning. There are some areas in the country where that they're very good at sculpting, but does that limit the knowledge? And does that also limit dexterity in sculpting?
I don't get you, please, rephrase.
All right. there's some parts of the country where some people from that area are known to be very good sculptors because it's like a tradition. Almost everyone from that area gets into sculpting from what they see around, from their parents. They learn it. They learn it. But does it limit those who can come into sculpting and how much of creativity they can have? Maybe if a particular kind of sculpting is not common in the area where you grew up or in the area where you learned it, that means you do not have knowledge of how to sculpt or how to do those kind of sculpting.
No, art generally is about giving talent. Sometimes even in a family where it's in their lineage. What about if I happen to come from such family and I'm not interested in art? It's not my calling. Once it's your calling, whether it's in your family or not, you do it. Because otherwise in your calling, you don't do it, you don't find happiness. You might be rich, but you won't find happiness. We are talking about passion here.
Exactly.
It's passion. So that does not even, for me, it doesn't matter. Although I'm from Edo State, born and bred in Lagos. But that doesn't mean, it's not because I'm from Edo State that I'm doing sculpture. It's my passion that brought me to it. My passion, because I'm so happy doing it. My music, my sculpture, I'm happy doing it. It's about passion, nothing more. When you don't have passion, you are in it, you will not get the happiness you want. Even when you are making money from it, you won't get it. That is it for you. It's natural.
So you do not think that tradition has anything to do with crafts or art?
It does. Why? Because we have all this Babalawo them and all the other people. they call sculptors to sculpt some things for them, some kind of ugly kind of things. So they use it for their fetish or whatever. But we just make those things, not because we want them to use it for that purpose. You understand? So traditionally they do all this Shangu, all those whatever.
Okay, let's look at the issue of client relationship. How do you relate with your client, especially when there's clash of interest? You have a particular design, an ideal one, but your client is insisting, I want this particular one. How do you mind that relationship where you are able to achieve professionalism at the same time you're trying to satisfy your client, so that you avoid a situation of what I ordered versus what I got?
What you do is, first you have to advise your clients the right thing. There's a different thing from doing something that's good or something that's right. This is how this is supposed to look. This is how it's going to look. Because if you don't advise your client first, eventually if he or she tells you this is what I want, and you do exactly what he or she wants, then later in future, what did this for? I'm going to say, why? How is it like this? So. But because you have advised your customer, your client, for this is how you're supposed to be. You are the one that asked me to do like this. So that's why I did it like this for you. That's it.
What's your take on that?
Well, for me, I think that is the essence of, that's what in school, because sometimes in school, the lecturer will tell you, look, see me as a client, this is what I want. And that's why I used to tell students in school that, look, don't complain. What you ask to do, just do it. Because when you get out there, the client might insist, this is what I want. So, because you have been going that way in school, you'll be able to satisfy your clients. That's my take on that. But then even at that, like he said, as a professional, sometimes your client might not even, because in art we have principles, we have all that, the elements and all that. Sometimes your client might see something out of the way totally, which of course you have to advise as a professional. Say, look, it can't go that way. If it goes that way, it will have a way of, a negative effect on the artwork itself, and it might give people a wrong impression. People might not get the message the way it's supposed to be. So that's it for me.
Let's look at the money-making aspect of it now, which is the real business. We've talked about the challenges, but of course you agree with me that people still patronize. How profitable is this venture? And then how can a new player or an existing player, irrespective of the challenges, be making more money, even if it means you patronize big clients who you feel cool, appreciate your work? In short, how expensive can an artwork be, or cheaper?
Artwork is.
Can I say something?
Okay, let's start with you first.
First of all, artworks, you can value artworks. An artwork will be like this size that will sell for 10 billion pounds.
Yes.
You say that this person is my artwork, like this, small like this. You can value chairs, cars, houses, but you cannot value artwork.
Value is priceless.
So it's priceless. So don't go there. Am I loving it?
Okay, you may not want us to go there, but let's look at somewhere that a lot of people are going to. Since the advent of social media, the internet, a lot of businesses have moved from just being in shops, being in physical locations, it moved online to social media platforms and e-commerce hubs. So as art, particularly sculpting, as it moved there, as art moved online to e-commerce sites, we have a lot of businesses that have taken advantage of e-commerce. You can order a lot of things, groceries, from where you're seated, and it's delivered to you. So a lot of other businesses have moved there. As art moved online, as sculpting in particular, taking advantage of e-commerce, and to what extent?
Yes, I will say yes, because why? The artists now, they know that they make use of this social media to sell their works and whatever, and then they put one or two things in together to let people be aware of what they have in the store. And to come to what he said, sorry.
To what extent has sculpting, for instance, moved online? How often do you find people placing orders for sculptures, for other artworks?
Do you know
online?
why? Do you know why people don't place more order for sculptures or whatever? Mostly artworks, because they've not even got money to feed themselves already. You're getting me? Things are very difficult. Few people are buying artworks. I'm telling you, let us be frank here. Few people are buying artworks. We are posting everything. We post our works out for them to see our works. But few people ask for, instead they ask for power bank, all this whatever. I know what I'm telling you. Yes. So it's only few people that buy patronizes the artists. Almost especially the sculpture is the most expensive art piece.
A while ago, before we brought you in and started talking about craft fairs and exhibition, we had discussion with an interior designer. And from what she said, a lot of things come into interior design. There are some art pieces that come into interior design. Now, of all of these things, and so persons can pay really huge amounts of money to have their spaces designed. Why do you think that people are not yet asking for sculptures into the mix? The amount of money that a sculpture is pegged at, do you think it's a discouragement for people to want to add that? Are there ways that it can be cut down to make it affordable, still very good?
You see, back to where we were before.
Yes, we just have to get there somehow.
It's because we are yet to get there, because a lot of people, they still see sculpture as, something people worship, which is not. It's just an artwork. It's a piece of art that, have its own value, that art is own, expressive value, which of course, they need to go deep and look. I don't know, especially this part of the world, we have problem with that. And I just hope that very soon we get over that, What do you think, my brother?
You're right, because one thing about sculpture works, people see, like one day, one man told me, all my works in front of us, this is an idol worshiper. Imagine somebody wants to preach to me. See, we should stop this work, this idol worship. We want to preach to madam, what's the concern? Talk to me, talk about God. Imagine that mentality. I don't embarrass artists. You see, these are, so things like that, we just, because we have the faith in God, that God is giving us, so we keep pushing to see that they can survive.
And that is why I'm thinking right now how to organize serious orientation on that, serious one. And I think we're going to work together on that.
And you asked one question. You asked one question at the time that how do they make the money if they want to make the money. What I would advise them is to do is that artists should start making some works down, painting, sculpture, whatever. So we don't know when people come down and come and buy them. Don't stop working, keep working.
Keep working.
Work for the head. That's what I understand.
All right, let's look at the way forward now. It's not just enough to talk about the challenges. Let's just also talk about the line of action for government, for the society, even for parents, even for private organizations and investors. Let's start with the government. What kind of intervention are you expecting, or kind of policy are you expecting from the government that will help the plight of people who are into this business? At a point there was a kind of finance here marked for people who are into the creative industry. How much of that do you want to see? I'll start with you.
Please, the very last one.
Okay, we're talking about the kind of intervention or policy you're expecting from the government to help your plight as a player in this industry. Then talking about the issue of financing, issue of funds for the creative industry.
That is why I would say government themselves, they have their own fault in this. When you want to appoint somebody, for instance, Minister of Culture and all that, and the person does not even know about arts, you put the wrong people in the right places. You can't get what you want like that. Now, the last project we had, the Unity Beyond Boundaries, we tried to get sponsors. Do you know that we just managed to do that project? Even up to now, we have to put the works of the students, because it was a competition for the students to do to that effect, that theme of Unity Beyond Boundaries. But up to now, we're still trying to just, overcome that, thing. So at the same time, I think government should work very hard on that. I think this corruption of the thing is really affecting us seriously. And that's why for us to get to that question you asked me now, it's going to be a little difficult. But we still advise that government should try and, work on their policies to make sure, they look out and go to schools, go to wherever, has to do with, and whoever to promote and sponsor this art. Instead of giving money to all these ministers and all that, and they embezzle the money, instead of using it for the right thing. They used to allocate money to them now, but they will not do the right thing. So that's my advice to the government, just to be serious about it, to see art as value for the people, to make a better living, for a better life, and then for a better future for the country, even the continent as a whole.
What role do you think your association can play in this? I know you have a group associations where you people meet and you have conversation. What kind of steps can be taken in that regard to ensure that you are being represented and your voices are being heard, then also embarking on a type of public awareness when it comes to artwork?
Well, what I think we can do is that association can do first is that to make all many students in different schools, they should have this arts competition. Arts competition makes, when they have all this, it will kind of improve what we're talking about here, you understand? Then again, what we can do again is just to make sure that the association will give gifts to those that are doing well. The association can also go to government, also tell the government that, look, this is what we want to do. We need sponsors, we need to push this in here, we need to push this in there. So spending money on fuel oil or whatever they are spending, which I don't know what they call it. So let them concentrate on talents, understand?
Do you think there's a future for arts, or that there are prospects for sculpting outside the shores of Nigeria?
Wow. What do you mean everywhere? Man, sweet, because they really respect sculpture works, themselves artworks. The white people, dollars, they pay in dollars, Africans, then in Germany. And they pay you big money, then you can relax. But not Nigeria, no. There a lot of prospects, so I cannot count.
Now, since there's a lot of prospects for sculpting outside Nigeria, why have sculptors in Nigeria not yet taken advantage of that market? We have other forms of art exporting their works abroad.
We are trying to do that. We are trying hard. It's just see the economy of the country and the way the system is being run. You know, that's why you see a lot of artists, they go abroad, do exhibition over there. I have a friend that's living fine there now, doing exhibition here and there. Because the white guys in the Western world, they encourage us so much, they know the value. It's not like here that we are. Even the so-called rich men here, only few of them know what art is all about. Only few of them value art, you know. So because of that, now we are here. As we are here, we are not really encouraged to be doing too much. I've not been doing solo exhibition for years now. I've not. I've only done group exhibitions, 1 or 2, 3 or so. I keep my works, hoping that I will take them abroad to sell them, or online, which I've been doing.
Okay.
All right, before we wrap up, let's look at music, because you agree with me that music, your first love. Music is also expression of art, isn't it?
Of course.
So let's look at music industry. You know, how far have we gone in your own estimation?
Right now, music industry, thank God for how far we have gone. I think we are trying. Like now, you know, before it used to be like you play like the Western. That was my band then. Hotline was my group then. We used to play like, you know, because then when you don't play like the Western people, you can't play your music on radio. But now, it's Nigerian music all over the world. You know, I mean, it's been encouraging for me. It's been encouraging, and that is why, right now, I even have even my Kosiri online now. Just did that, so it's really making wave now, gradually.
Okay. Are you majorly a recording artist, or you do more of band music?
Both.
Okay, so for those who are not really recording artists, how is the market for them? You have a band, you do not really record albums for people to see they're buying your CDs or they're downloading your songs online. So how's business for bands like?
Business for band is not something that is heard. You see, it's very easy. People call band to come and play in clubs, play here in churches, play, and so they get more money. But talking of recording, whatever, and many people bring you understand, it's not, people don't really go there and buy songs anymore now. They use the social media, whatever, but band, you making more money. You go with your band, your guitarist, your saxophonist, they pay you, there you go. So weekend upon weekend, you keep playing and you get your cash.